What if thriving wasn't about getting life perfect?
but learning to find peace and purpose right in the mess.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Tom, and we walked away from the version of life that looked right to build one that feels alive.
We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle, from parenting and marriage to faith, well-being and travel.
This is The Whole of Us.
We had a whole episode sort of planned and mapped out for today, but we've sort of come together and not feeling it.
Which, look, I think so much of these conversations, we want to actually genuinely be conversations. We don't want to come and preach or give us talk on this particular topic. It's like
This is the risk of being in this space as well. There are so many experts out there.
yeah,
And I just sit in a way, I feel like if you have enough evidence on one side, you will be convinced.
you can argue any point.
Yes.
And AI has proved that even more so because it will argue the point that you give it.
And so I really want to have value on a life of curiosity, a life of humility, one where we can sit and have questions. And I hope you as a listener feel value in us just having conversations, but
And wrestling with these topics.
I want
Back
to
and
wrestle,
forth.
even if it's adamant truth that I thought I believed, that I actually want to get really clear on.
Mm.
And I want to be able to grow and change and be challenged, because that is the point of the conversations, of hearing different perspectives. And
Yeah. And look, I mean, some of these conversations come out of a conference that we went to on the weekend just gone. And it was very clearly
black or white.
black or white around what truth is.
Yes. And I don't disagree with a lot of that.
No. And I think there's value in holding a really strict point and holding to a point and being able to defend it well.
Mm.
I think the issue comes when you see people only able to sit in that space. And what we noticed was that bitterness starts to creep in. And bitterness of people having questions, of people maybe disagreeing or just being unsure. And this almost resentment of like, just get it. Like, just
Full
accept
stop.
that
This is what it is. I do think, obviously, we're Christians, and so we believe that the Bible is true, right? That is a truth we stand on. And I'm no scholar, and I don't have any theological background. And so as we wrestle with it, like, the truth is there, right? But interpretations can vary. And
And that's interesting, even that idea of truth, because I would say the Bible is God's word. And so from that, then we need to understand God's word. But this is an idea of truth. We're going, okay, well, so much of how we view truth is the lens through which we see it. And we're not even aware most of the time of what our actual lens is. And
yes,
so we're coming into a conversation with a radically different lens for the person opposing us. We may have a shared viewpoint on it, but because our lens is so different,
yeah.
we're going to disagree. Or we're going to come at it and feel like we're being attacked because they're making a comment about something and they're just being curious.
Over and over again, I'll die on this hill, I think, of, wait, what's the hill I'm going to die on? I just forgot what I was going to say.
Which hill are you dying on?
No, I think sitting in a more nuanced gray area. And what I mean by this is, like, travel, for example. When we traveled, we saw that things that we were experiencing and seeing were radically different to what we had heard of, what we had been told our whole lives growing up, and just even our experience day to day.
Yeah.
We see that there is good in every place and there is bad, like terrible bad in every place. There's obviously wisdom and you be safe and all the things, but it just left this tangible expression of humanity.
Yeah.
This felt, seen, known experience. And actually it created a little bit of unhinged in me.
Well, it's curious. I'm just thinking through, as we kind of go through the world, to create safety, we often put labels on things.
Yes.
So we label a broad group as good or bad for the sake of our mind being able to go, okay, I don't have to make another decision about it.
Yeah.
And there is use in that. It is helpful because if we had to hold the grey of literally every decision that there is to make in life, we'd be crippled. And like you say, that's that unhinged feeling of like, what do I actually stand on now?
Totally.
But if we hold rigidly to these beliefs and we don't even allow a hint of maybe a different understanding or a different opinion, or we're not settled enough in ourselves to change our beliefs around things.
Well, but don't you think that would just be an insecurity in ourselves? Like,
Yeah,
if we can't hold that somebody else has a different opinion or belief or perspective on something because it threatens who we are and our worth.
and this is, I think, the point that we wanted to come to is we've turned thoughts and beliefs and opinions about things to identity.
Yes.
And we've lost touch of what identity is outside of, I believe this about this, or I think this about this, or I have an opinion that's this way.
So if someone has a different opinion to you, it's not or a belief or a value or whatever.
Yeah.
It is an attack on your personhood. So you would naturally get absolutely fired up to the death.
And this is like taken to the extreme, and that words are effectively becoming violence or perceived violence.
Yes.
And so if we're met with this verbal perceived violence by someone having a different view to us, it makes perfect sense that we would then step to physical violence as the natural outcome of that. We're going to defend ourselves.
So how do you undo that?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Well, I think it would come back to your identity.
Yeah.
In knowing who you are. And it's so interesting, like the narrative we keep seeing over and over again, and in talking to different people around the world in different stages of life, there is this hopelessness echoing throughout the world at the moment, that the world's crumbling. People don't want to have children because why would you want to bring them into a world like this? And I have really wrestled with hope the last few years as the dream, or what we thought was our dream, crumbled around us.
Yeah.
And, socials make it look lovely, but behind the scenes, there has been a deep wrestle of what is our purpose and what is the point.
Yeah.
And I think that terrifies me for our kids. I say terrifies me, but it's also incredibly exciting because I believe our kids were born for such a time as this. So imagine the type of people they are. And we got to be their parents. So it's not hopeless, but I look at it and I'm like, this is a really interesting time to be alive.
It's fascinating. And oh man, there's so many different tangents my mind's going down now.
Choose one.
Choose one. Look, I think something that I'm becoming more and more aware of is the overwhelming statistics we have around the mental health crisis in the world. And it's shocking. Like it's like I can't even remember all the numbers.
I actually feel I almost feel like I want to cry thinking about it, because you and I have both suffered, and it is suffering from mental health disorders.
Yeah.
We've both had depression and anxiety. I've had postnatal depression. We've had a range of different diagnoses. But I think at the end of the day, I think we've been set up to fail.
And that's where I was going to come to this kind of analogy that I was reading about the other day. And it was really fascinating. Talking about wild animals in a zoo. And you don't look at the tiger that's pacing back and forth, that's like just looking there dejected, and go, oh, the tiger has a serotonin imbalance. Oh, the tiger has a mental health issue. Oh, the tiger, like, you go, no, it's in the wrong environment. Its environment's totally messed up.
Or it needs
It needs freedom. It needs like
different stimulation.
Different stimulation. It needs to be engaged with life and with the world. And so I think looking at this mental health crisis and going, yeah, it's horrendous.
Something has to change.
But it's the environment that we're living in.
Yeah.
And
well, you saw something the other day. You were telling me about, we go to school, we're like put in classrooms, then we go to uni, and then we go into a job that sits behind a desk, and we are unable to get off this mouse rat. What's that wheel thing? The mouse wheel.
Yeah.
How crushing, how powerless, how hopeless that must feel. Us all walking around exhausted. We are looking for cheap entertainment. We are wired for dopamine. Our brains are alive and our bodies are exhausted, but it's not like we've been in the garden all day. We've gone out into nature, that type of exhausted. It is that bone-weary, despondent crisis of self.
Yeah.
What is the point?
Yeah. I'm just going to pause there, because I think this is a question that we all need to sit with. And there's an existential reality of going, I need to wrestle with why I'm here. I need to actually wrestle with who I am in this world, of the point of even showing up today.
Here's the thing. You hear millionaires and billionaires and people who have fame and have everything you could physically want, all the things we in the West are working towards,
Yeah.
financial independence, houses, best schools, you want, you name it, we can get it, or that's what we're going for, right? And they're unhappy.
Yeah. Well, I think even Elon Musk tweeted that the other day. Turns out money doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So then if we're looking at what society deems as success and happiness, and overwhelmingly we are seeing that that does not create happiness, what are we missing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were thinking about this the other day, and part of the conference we went to was really talking about,
The guy who was talking this had this nice little three phrase thing for who we are as Christians: to be known by God, to know God, and to make God known.
Yeah.
And the thought that we sort of immediately had in discussion afterwards was, we've made the idea of making God known a big thing. So it's go and preach the gospel, go and convert people, go and win souls for Jesus, and absolutely a beautiful expression of faith.
well, it's what we're called to do. Yes. Yeah.
We've also gotten really good at knowing God. So we've got really deep theological understanding of who God is. We've got beautiful resources. We're good at knowing things, and in effect, we're trained in that by the world that we live in, and pushed towards those knowledge-based professions and all those sorts of things. What we felt we hadn't gotten good at is actually letting ourselves be known.
Because to let yourself be known, it requires a deep level of vulnerability and safety within yourself, and allowing somebody else to see and know you.
Yeah, which takes actually knowing yourself first.
I think the reason we were leaning into this type of discussion as well was in relation to how do you feel happy, or what is the point, right? And stripping it back and thinking about the inability we have to actually sit in joy.
Yeah.
We are so busy. Like, if the point of life is to love God and to be delighted in Him knowing us as well, and having that relationship, and then sharing about it with other people so that they can have that relationship, then we actually got to love life. Like, there is an element that requires us to know what joy feels like, what freedom feels like, what peace feels like.
Yeah.
And I don't think many of us know how to do that anymore.
Totally.
I was thinking about this the other day. I went and sat in our tree house. Tom and the girls made a tree house, and I've started going out there a couple of times. Done it once, but I'll do it again. It was great. And drawing the house from where we can see, or anything I can see from the tree house. There's no phone or anything like this, right? And it was a really interesting exercise, because we do a lot of this type of not fluffy mindfulness stuff, but grounding, right? Like noticing what's around us.
And I think I was going to just add to that. When you're saying no peace or no joy, it's not a cognitive knowing. It's not a head knowledge knowing. It's an embodied sense.
It's a felt experience.
Feeling it. Yeah.
You could feel and almost put a color to it, a shape to it. You can sense where it lies in your body. Like it's a real tangible, touchable, almost experience. And
so sitting in the treehouse, what did you feel?
I was just drawing and noticing how fun it was to see something be created in front of my eyes. Like just the simplest thing of, it is fun to hold a pencil and just to try and like draw shapes on a page. And, you're listening to the trees blow in the wind, or like the leaves, whatever. And then the birds, you can maybe even hear the birds now, they go nuts in the afternoon. But it was actually, I think I just noticed, this is hard to sink into. Yeah. Because I'm actually busy and I've got a ton of other things I'd rather be doing.
Totally. And our brains are spinning constantly.
I think we've done a really good job the last few years of letting the spin go.
Yeah. Yeah, we've slowed down the amount of noise that is coming at us.
But this has taken years of work, which is why I imagine for many of us out there, or I wonder, do we know what joy feels like? Do we know what it feels like to be alive again?
Yeah.
Because to really sink into those other emotions, it requires a little bit of a slowness. And it's not a huge dopamine hit. that it's subtle.
Yeah.
And I think it starts very subtle.
Yeah.
And you might leave and not even notice it. It takes a lot of time and practice to start leaning into it.
Well, I'm just sitting here and even feeling the need to just,
Yeah, I know you're
Just
like,
slow-
and I'm like, I don't want to slow down right now. Talking. Yes, it's so much more like you dropping me nuts. I'm like, I've got things to do. I'm trying to feel joy over here. Go away. I think unless we as a society can get good at finding life and joy in those moments,
Yeah.
it doesn't look good.
Mm.
Because the evil of the world, the cheap hits, are so much more, one, readily available, but they are more intense.
Yeah.
So the intensity of these small, tiny moments is almost like a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
So why would we spend all this time sitting and trying to feel it when you could go watch something online and have a quicker hit? We know long term you need a more intense hit. It's no wonder why pornography is through the roof, while child abuse is through the roof, while there's domestic violence happening. Like there is just set up. The earth is just
to continue amping up and amping up and amping up. Yeah. And we lose ourselves there. So what does it look like then to slow down in a moment and feel something? Because I think it's like we're talking about this thing of sighing and feeling. And I think you mentioned before this idea of trying to actively feel and express what's happening in our bodies in a moment.
Yeah.
So like a moment of stillness I wanted to sink into before. It felt so uncomfortable.
No, well, we're podcasting, so everyone's sitting there silently.
So I'm thinking then though, it's going, it feels really nice to just be still for a moment. I can feel like I can take maybe a little bit of a bigger breath. It sinks down a little deeper into my tummy, and the knot that was feeling there today just feels a little less tight.
You're looking for a 1%.
Yeah. Yeah. My hands feel a little more relaxed. They're not quite as clenched as they were 5 seconds before.
The reason we do this is because we're trying to retrain our brain to notice the safety around us. It's a multifaceted conversation because we started talking about purpose and we started talking about the point of life. And it seems like such a small thing to come back to just noticing what's happening in our body. But how can you notice the blessings around you if you're not looking for them?
If you're not actually still enough to actually notice.
Yeah.
And again, like we
and noticing is just a part of it. Like noticing doesn't shift things it does to some degree because it's connected, but we want to lean into it. It's not just putting my feet on the ground and, oh, this feels nice. No, it's like noticing that something's holding you. Yeah. Something bigger than me is carrying, like the whole earth right now is on a gravitational pull. It's spinning. It's moving. And we're not flying around in the atmosphere. Like there is something holding us here. Yeah. That is an incredible amount of safety to my system.
Yeah.
Then I can start thinking, what if suddenly the sun explodes and we'll die? But just in this moment, creating that safety.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit at a time.
Which comes back to how can we have a relationship with God? Like, I think he's bigger than that too, by the way. I just want to caveat all this. I don't think it's up to us being really grounded and aware of safety around us. And
it's to be able to engage.
It's not about that. But I think a relationship requires vulnerability and it requires honesty. And to do that, there has to be a level of honesty and vulnerability with ourselves.
Yeah. And we know that in relationship with each other.
Yeah.
If we're not able to be at least a little vulnerable or a little open or a little curious about the other, relationship's not going to grow and build.
It was funny, the other day I had a sauna and I had it all to myself, which is a miracle. So I'm sitting in the sauna and I'm just pouring it all out to God, and it was probably pretty surfacey. I thought I was going deep. or I wanted to be going deep, but I just couldn't access a lot of those like deeper.
There's a lot of things to just list out.
Totally. And I felt in that moment an invitation to go deeper. And it's usually how things roll, but sometimes when I'm really busy or really overwhelmed, I just don't even want to access that deep
Which
emotion,
makes so
right?
much sense.
Totally. And I think there's no problem with that. But in this moment, I felt God saying, tell me more.
Yeah.
And this sort of leaning in towards me, like I literally had the visual of him, leaning in towards me. And so I was like listing all the things in my life that were feeling hard and blah, like that we were processing through. And then there was this layer underneath, and I feel God lean in towards me. And I feel like he says, tell me more. And I'm thinking, I've already told you everything. But then I could take a few seconds and I was like, yeah, I'm actually really worried this doesn't all work out.
Yeah.
I'm worried that you're withholding things from me. I'm worried that I can't trust you. I don't feel like I can. I am prepared for the next bad thing to come around the corner.
Yeah.
I have a big issue with trust if you can't tell we're working on it. And instead of any sort of rebuke or wisdom landing in the moment, I just felt the delight in God for just being with me in the moment and
Yeah.
wanting me to share that with him. And I felt different too.
Yeah.
And this is how my relationship with God is. And for many of you listening, I'm sure it's the same, but I guess we're just highlighting that there is such a beauty to the vulnerability, but it's not just pretty. It's not just a relief for whatever we're carrying internally. It is the thread for relationship.
Yeah.
It draws us closer together, and it's risky.
And that moment of not being fixed, of not being rebuked, of not being made to feel a different way, but just someone being with you for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in that 25 minutes in the sauna. There wasn't a huge long time, but I did feel completely, well, not completely, I felt relief.
Yeah. And from that relief, it actually frees you to go and be more present and be a little freer.
We talk about if you can't go there and feel pain and some of these more difficult emotions, it's really difficult for you to feel the joy
Fullness of
and
joy.
the fullness. You can't numb one emotion and not have it affect the others.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much research behind that as well. Like we gain a much broader emotional expression by actually leaning into the challenging things.
I also think, what do we have to lose by being honest?
Yeah.
Like, God knows. We know to some degree what's happening. And like I say that being like that, it's right there. Like the freedom to run, to abundance, to joy, to all of that is right there. And yes, I know we want to resist feeling that pain with everything in us. We will do anything but to sit with that pain. But we've seen in the last few years, when you get real and when you sit in that pain, joy flows through. Like it opens up a whole kaleidoscope of colors that you couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
That you've been holding off, some of you, for your whole life.
Yeah.
That is accessible when we are real and say, this is what I'm afraid of. This is what I've experienced. This is what I feel.
And not getting lost in it, but actually able to go, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And from there, being able to go, cool.
We have changed so much in the last few years. We're processing through some big decisions at the moment, and it feels heavy. And I'm so blown away by our ability to sit in some really uncomfortable emotions at the moment. That in the past, I probably would have just scrolled myself to sleep at night or numbed out on Netflix or had a few glasses of wine. And instead, there is an ability to move through the emotion, which is what regulation is, right? It's ability to come back into your body and into the present and return to base level, essentially, and not get stuck there.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with some therapies out there is people get lost in it. It's their whole identity. And for a season, that actually did happen to us.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
We were completely consumed by it.
It becomes exciting life then.
Yeah.
There's this growing sense of expectancy around the beauty of what's next. And I literally writing an essay with Isla this week on optimism. And one of the things that we were kind of talking about is the confirmation bias that we have. And the more we notice a particular thing, the more we notice it. So
Yes.
when we see I'm thinking about buying this type of car, suddenly we see it everywhere
Yes.
after having never seen it before. Or, we think about naming our kid this, and then suddenly there's 20 kids with that same name that appear. And this happens when we actually start going, yeah, there's actually maybe some goodness around the corner. And a little thing will happen. Like, we got a random check in the mail the other day from America.
It was $50, guys. Don't get too excited.
And it turns out we can't even cash the check. So that was beside the point. Isla's sitting in the back seat and goes, that feels like a promise that we get to fix the house.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's this beautiful, yeah.
The answer is far more simpler than we think. And I think that's where we struggle.
Yeah.
We're talking
want, complex wisdom.
Right. Like talking about what the point to life is and the purpose of things. I'm like, what if it is to love God, to be known by God, and to just tell other people about it? Have friends over for meals and share in life together, and get outside with your kids and run and laugh. And I know it's more complex than that. And part of the crazy nuance is that we hold suffering and pain of the world with the truth that abundant life is ours. And we sort of have to do this little dance and wrestle with it.
That wrestle of abundance and pain.
And that's okay.
Yeah. It's been the wrestle that people have experienced for thousands of years. But
wild. I think we get caught up in it all when our life becomes so busy that we don't even get to taste the goodness. So it's so busy because we're running from this thing to next, and we're hiding from our pain, and we're distracted, and we're doing cheap dopamine stuff. And
so what does it mean then to take 15 minutes and sit and draw a picture?
Yeah. How simple. And you're teaching your body that this can be beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I'd even start with 5 minutes because that'll feel uncomfortable.
I mean, people surely can do 10 minutes.
Surely.
Maybe not.
It's pretty uncomfortable if you haven't done it before.
Or just have a cup of tea and sit outside.
With nothing else. No podcast, no book, no phone, just a cup of tea and outside.
Arrive 5 minutes earlier from somewhere.
Yeah, and sit in the car and just breathe. Just look outside and see what you can see.
Groundbreaking.
But
it is because you start training yourself
to see the beauty in the world around you.
To slow down and see slowing down not as a threat.
Yes.
You survive it, guys.
So can you tell us your survival stories, please? We want to hear what those 5 minutes look like.
I actually would love to know what people are doing. We do a lot of this sort of stuff, but we probably have been doing it so long now we wouldn't notice it.
Yeah. And it's forgetting the small, simple steps that actually has brought us to a place of, I get to be. So we would love you to send us a message, comment below, share this episode with somebody who's wrestling with this idea of what is life and why are we here?
Also, I think I would like to go into it a little bit deeper. I know this was very surface level, and we do have deeper thoughts. I think at the moment we're just trying to
we're just wrestling,
streamline and wrestle and just have fun in the conversation. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.